Hey Justin, I just finished your video. It was really insightful. There's a few things that really stood out that I want to talk to you about. First of all, I want to just say thank you for working with our group, and I think we have had a long summer, but we were able to really work together on this collaborative paper, and I just appreciate you so much for your contribution and your responses this few weeks, last 4 weeks. It's been fast and crazy, but I've really enjoyed learning from you, and I hope we get this opportunity again. So going into the family therapy, there were a lot of things I agree. So something that you brought up I didn't bring up was the actions. So you notice that Pam and her mom, and maybe the dad, I don't know, the dad didn't even say anything during it, but they shook their head in response. So that was a really good catch. I also like how you realized the circular pattern and how there was a lot of anger. You know, it was a short clip, but you took away a lot what maybe I took away, that because the therapist brought it up, maybe they had previous conversations, and maybe they shared more about you know, the anger part and the anger piece. And I felt like the mom was the one who was contributing more. Pam really didn't say much of anything, just really her body language, you know, shaking her head, but she kept her head down a lot. And the dad, I don't think, said anything. And in our reading, you know, it talks about the different roles that family members can play. And one that stood out to me, it was very obvious, they referred to it as the computer, and the dad he just sat there and he observed, and he didn't really say anything. And so but I agree with everything you said, but I loved how you really brought to the attention or considering Pam's feelings that weren't mentioned. I don't know if you really realize this, but you were really advocating for her. You were, you know, talking about, well, we don't know what's going on with Pam. Like, what is the underlying issue? Does she, you know, what is her relationship with her mom? Does she like to be told what to do, or suggested what to do? So I thought it was interesting and neat how you talked about, you know, what could be going on with Pam. And so, but I definitely feel like that there was dysfunction, and the therapist suggesting that maybe the mom asking Pam in the future if she would like to hear that her appearance isn't right, if, you know, and then you went back and acknowledged Pam, you know, maybe she would, maybe she doesn't. She didn't say anything, so it's really hard to really put our finger on that. Okay, what really stood out to me was the way to implement it in the school. So when I thought about this, in my example, I thought about GT. Just that's the first thing that stood out to me as well. In a different way, you know, in the elementary setting, there's so many high expectations put on kids that parents can be really hard on them. And so the fact that you were able to live out that scenario, and how you talked about, I loved how you tied in the cultural differences and everything. Like, it's everything that we've learned, and you talked about. It's really neat that you've already had a chance to experience it. And with GT, we don't, a kid could be advanced in one thing. They say a kid may be exceptional in math. I think her name was Stephanie. The student you're talking about wasn't, but let's say they're exceptional in math, but they could be below level readers. And so that's an assumption people make, like, well, they're GT, right? So that means they're brilliant in all areas. Well, that's not true. And I can see if parents aren't familiar with that, or they're not, they may have a mindset that, oh, my child is gifted, so they should, excel in every area. But it's not true. And the fact that you were able to sit down with the counselor and the teacher and the translator to be culturally sensitive was really great. And you really fought for that student. And when she came to you about the anxiety at home, you were able to, to talk her through it, but also provide strategies maybe she could take home and talk to her parents, and inform them about her anxiety. So anyways, I think it's great. And I think you going in as a counselor and wanting to involve families is amazing. We're going to be not only there for students or teachers, we're there for the family, and, for the child to be supported, and to consider the whole child, we have to bring in all those outside factors as well. So anyways, thank you so much for your input. I wish you all the best this school year, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Bye, Justin.